What is meant by developmentally sequenced curriculum map? Lesson sequencing is the process of organizing several lesson plans that will be taught consecutively. The purpose of lesson sequencing is to create a smooth transition between lessons in order to meet the objectives of the unit plans and to achieve optimal learning outcomes. With developmentally sequenced curriculum map, teachers will prevent the redundant curriculum. When we say redundant, it talks about the excess. So it's better to use spiral curriculum, like for example, the teacher will teach addition in grade 1 and the students will turn to grade 2 next year. And by that, we can repeat the lesson, but we should increase the level of content, like from single digit to double digit in addition, okay? Brunner's spiral curriculum is an approach to educational that involves regularly revisiting the same educational topics over the course of a student's education. Each time the content is revisited and the students gains deeper knowledge of the topic. It has the benefits of reinforcing information over time and using prior knowledge to inform future learning. When students re-engage with the topic repeatedly, they both consolidate prior knowledge in their memory and build on it over time. With developmentally sequenced curriculum map, teacher can address academic gaps. Learning gaps, those are the difference between the what a student is expected to have learned by a certain grade level versus what they have actually learned up to that point. That is why we have the elements of curriculum where there is an objective, activities, methods, and learning outcomes are aligned. No topics will be missed with the curriculum map. If we have the curriculum guide or map, it also revolves misalignment and avoid academic inconsistency. Alignment is the comparison between the academic content and assessment. Teacher might ask herself, is my assessment related to the topic, or what do I think is the best methods for the academic content and assessment? I can say that the curriculum mapping that I prepare is developmentally sequenced. I also use the criteria in selecting of learning content such as self-sufficiency. The content selected help the learners to attain maximum self-sufficiency in learning, but in the most economical manner, significance and validity also, the interests, and the grade 3 pupils will be interested in the topic because solid, liquid, and gas are very familiar for them. The utility, learnability, and feasibility. The curriculum map of Science Grade 3 first quarter is consisted of elements such as the standard content, performance standard learning competencies, content, intended learning outcomes, reference, available resource, teaching and learning methods, and the assessment procedure. The Grade 3 Science Curriculum Map that covered the first grading aims to ensure that teaching is purposefully structured and logically sequenced across the lesson per week so that the students are building on what they have previously learned and learning the knowledge and skills that progressively prepare them for more challenging or higher level of work. I can prove that the activities, methods, and strategies and assessment strategies are aligned to the learning outcomes and competencies. In week 1 that covered the lesson 1, the teaching learning methods that I prepared is entitled Observing Things That I Can See. It is a group activity where the teacher will group the students into 5 and each group will assign to list down 10 things that they can see in. The group 1 will look at the canteen, the group 2 will assign to look at the classroom, the group 3 at the market, okay, the group 4 is at the garden, and the group 5 is in the house. Then I prepare a written test assessment which entitled "What do you see?" where the teachers show a video clips, or I will show the video clips to the students. Then the students will write down what the things that they watch and seen from the video. Those group activities and assessments are aligned in the learning competencies. The learning competencies that the learner should be able to: number 1, describe different objects based on their characteristics. Because it is observing activity, they can describe the different objects. Number 2, classify objects and materials as solid, liquid, and gas based on some observable characteristics. By doing their activity, they will be able to classify materials as solid, liquid, and gas. Like for example, the group will see water in the canteen. The group 1 will see the water in canteen. The table at the classroom, balloons at the market. Okay, the solid, liquid, and gas phases, and what are the different of those phases. Number 3 is to describe ways on proper use and handling solid, liquid, and gas, and found at home and in school. Okay? In the intended learning outcomes, the students will be able to A, understand what is matter. So by doing their activity, they can understand what is matter, give examples of matter, okay, and build a good relationship with their classmates. So as I said, it is a group activity, and by that it expand and increase the social life of the students and build good relationship with their classmates. Unit 2 is cover the curriculum planning, design, and organization. In designing a curriculum, it composed of 5 elements: the aim, goals, and objective. I learned that they have each respective meaning. Aims is the most general level. Goals is the reflecting on purpose with outcomes in mind. And objectives as the most specific level of educational outcomes. And secondly is the content or subject matter. It is very important in curriculum and in teaching also. Why? Ask yourself as a teacher, what should I thought without the subject matter or without the content? Okay, in choosing a content, teachers should also consider the criteria in selecting learning content, such as self-sufficiency, significance, validity, interests, utility, learnability, and feasibility. With this criteria, teacher can make a better curriculum for the students. Okay? Aside from the criteria, we should also consider the basic principles in the organization of the learning content that will help to have an effective curriculum, such as the balance, articulation, sequence, integration, and continuity. The third element is the reference. It tells where the content or subject matter has been taken. The reference may be a book, a module, or any publication. It must bear the author of the material and, if possible, the publications. The fourth is the teaching and learning methods. As my teacher said, that I still remember, if we have 1,000 of teachers, there is also 1,000 of methods, because every teacher have their very own way or methods of teaching. These are the meaningful learning activities where students derive experience and learning, which will help them to internalize learning to arrive at the learning outcomes. The curriculum experiences answer